All right, guys, today we're on site. We're going to be doing an interview and some B-roll of a fitness company. I'm going to be showing you what I brought. I waited to set everything up to show you guys how everything's going to work. We're going to run the fx3. I usually run 2 SD cards, but I gave James one so I can just take home after. Obviously, we're going to throw in a battery. I'm going to throw a battery in here. We're going to be using the 35mm lens. As I mentioned, it's good for interviews, it's good for avoiding distortion on the face, and it has minimal focus breathing because all the G Master lenses, as good as they are, they have really shitty focus breathing. Gonna mount, obviously, the mounting plate to put on a tripod. Brought a small monopod because, like I said, I like to keep everything compact. We do have bigger tripods, but when you're a traveling videographer, when you're always on the go, you want to make sure that everything stays compact. So we're pretty much ready to go here. Got everything set up. Now for settings, I am going to be running 24p because this is an interview, and in order to keep things the most natural looking, you always want to keep your 24p shutter at 50 or 48, whatever your camera lets you do. Since it's an interview, we're definitely going to be bringing microphones. Okay, I'm going to be using these Rode Wireless Pros. As I said earlier, these are some of the best microphones on the market. I'm going to mount it here just so I can see all the levels. I have the gain on auto, so it'll always push down all the peaks and push up all the lows. We're gonna do a redundant recording. We're gonna record into the device and we're gonna record into the camera so we never lose any audio for just in case sake. Test. Because it's an interview, it's a more of a professional one. We're gonna use a lav. This is the good thing about the Rode Pros. What you're gonna do is you're gonna put in the lav, you're gonna screw it in, so no matter how he moves around, this lav will not pop out. So he can move around at this point and he's not going to lose any of the sound. Sound is set up, our camera is set up. We're going to check for audio always, because sometimes if you hit S&Q, nick it, or something like that, you're going to lose sound. Like I said, we're in a rush. There's setup time, right? But no, this is perfect. This is for everybody to see, because this is an actual real working situation, right? Like, you're not always gonna have all this time and everything like that. So I cleaned all the stuff before, I cleaned all the equipment, brought my card to white balance, I brought my Ronin, but we'll get into that later. So for now, because it's a gym, we kind of want to get a gym feeling, right? So I want him, I'm using a 1.8 lens, which is gonna bokeh out all the background, but we still want to put him in a centerpiece of the equipment. Just to be fair, this equipment is actually called Recon Health and Fitness, and he owns the company. So this is a company, or he owns the company that provides gym equipment to the small all the way to commercial gyms. So if you want, you can actually get B-roll a little bit of the equipment. We're going to be talking a lot about the release of new innovation that this company is providing. So let's set something up right here. That way you can see a little bit of the gym equipment, and when a person opens up the camera or opens up the video, they know exactly what this is about, to kind of set the mood. Using the bench that his company sells, ironically. So once again, you never kind of want him, I don't want him to be sitting so straight and tense. So this way he can kind of sit, relax, have his legs open, and be a little bit more comfortable. This is the small tripod, it's a cheap one. Like I said, I do have an expensive one, but there's no point of sometimes dragging around expensive ones with those 3 legs that you just sit there fucking jerking around all the time. So, kind of set the mood. He's gonna sit here. If you frame it, it's gonna tell basically the entire story that he's in a gym. It's all his equipment. But today, we're gonna be talking about the innovation of bands and how his new addition to the company is going to be integrated. So we kind of want to set the mood also a little bit come this way. These are a little bit too branded outside of maybe copyright or something like that, so I wouldn't really use it. Although it's a very famous brand of gym equipment. We'll put something like this. I don't know how this is gonna look yet, but it adds a little color, adds a little contrast. We're gonna be talking a lot about band training, so we'll put some of his bands on top of here just to kind of set the mood and give everybody an understanding of what we're doing. And once again, like I said, you know, I am in a little bit of a rush because we told the talent that we're gonna start at 6:30, so we're trying to set the mood. And these are real life situations, and YouTube's gonna love this because they know the stress and the feeling of that. Today we're using the fx3 because I don't know how long this interview is gonna last. Don't want anything to overheat. Obviously it's more of a professional camera, even though we're not using the highest quality lens. For interviews, you don't want things to be too sharp and just showing too much of their imperfections on their face or skin or anything like that. So let's keep things at eye level. He's about yay tall. I'm gonna frame him the rule of 2/3, whatever. I'm just gonna try to frame him. So I'm not gonna frame him directly in the middle. I might frame him just a little bit to the left. And drop this down a tad bit, just so I can kind of see the bands. I'm gonna see his face here, so I can still crop it for short form content if I need to, but sometimes just cropping him, or sorry, putting him directly in the middle just seems a little bit boring and amateur, I guess. And the good thing is, if you look up here, what I'm pointing is the light. So the light is kind of perfect in terms of, as soon as you sit down, the light comes in and I'm well lit up, right? We almost don't really need any other light here. What I would do is kind of just maybe do a little hair light for a little pizzazz. Once again, I'm gonna turn this baby on. Nothing too bright. It's gonna be behind him and just, it's gonna be out of frame. Yeah. That'll be perfect. Do you see anything on camera where it should be a little bit brighter in the hair to give it a little bit of separation? I just need the tiniest little bit, like right here. Just kind of light up the back of the head. Yeah, and a little bit of the ear. Perfect. So that just kind of gives this interview a little bit more of a, how would you say it, a little pizzazz, right? So you're just not blasting light in the face, or, you know, just gives it a little bit more production value. Once again, I have a VND at the end of this 35mm because we want to make sure that if anything changes, or we sit down here and it's a little bit too bright or too dark, if it's too, this is the important part, because you're running the fx3, it only has two ISO at 800 and 12.8, and this is where you kind of want to live if you're shooting S-Log3. So sometimes 800 is a little bit too low, right? So you have to bump it to 12.8, but once you bump it to 12.8, you're way overexposed, and that's when you bring it down with the VND. Once again, this is a tough one, because if you look at this here, at 12.8, I'm exposed at plus 1.7, which is technically the perfect place where I kind of like my exposure in terms of the metering mode for S-Log3, because with S-Log3, everybody knows you overexpose, you bring it down after in post, that way you get blacks, clean blacks without creating a lot of noise. I can go 800 and put my VND at lowest and I'll be +1, which also isn't bad. It's gonna just introduce a little bit more noise, but technically, once again, the 12.8 has a little bit more noise, so we're literally right in between everything, and it's a little bit tough to decide. I know that if I take this VND off, I'll be overexposed. Jay, come on down, sit down so I can frame you in a little bit. Yeah, so we just get you to sit down just to kind of frame you and your height and everything like that. You know what, you can show Jay. He's dressed all nice, dressed all spicy. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta do it. Jacked. He's jacked, he got tattoos.
it.
He's got those.
Put me out there.
He's got those Hawaiian tattoos too. So.
My body is in half. Like I'm tattooed front and back.
Oh, okay. I was like, what the fuck is he saying? No. Yeah, exactly. I was like, since when, man? All right. So you want to just run this up your shirt? I'll do the clipping after. And just put this in your pocket, and then I'll just clip it. Okay, so with interviews, yes, visuals are important. Yes, framing is important, but god damn, the fucking audio is extremely important. That's why we have these Rode Wireless Go Pros, Pro Goes, whatever Pros. We need to make sure that we're recording in receiver and we're recording in camera. So we have backup. And like I said, you know, there's nothing worse than fucking losing audio because you have to get the talent back. And sometimes you get priceless information out of your talent because they're in the zone or in the moment. So here in the camera settings, once again, I'm really stuck in the middle at 800 ISO at +1 multimetering, or at the 12.8 at 1.7. I think I'm gonna choose the 12.8 1.7 just because I like my shit a little bit overexposed and I can bring it down. I feel like it's a little bit more lenient with S-Log3 if you bring it down than if you shoot underexposed and try to bring it back up. All right, let's see what we got here. So you're just gonna face me. So we're just gonna push back a bit because Jay's a little bit taller. And this is the perfect, right? So you get a little bit of his leg. Okay, we're just gonna do a mic check. What did you have for breakfast today, Jay?
I had some scrambled eggs, some rye toast, I had an avocado, you know, all the basic good shit.
Nice. So now we're just gonna run that back.
Which nobody fucking does. That's why you're like, what's happening?
This actually looks better than we thought it was gonna look. I'm just gonna push that little light out of frame. Nice. Now him in frame at multimetering mode. 12.8 was obviously the right choice because now we're exposed at +1.3 in the metering. So I'm gonna grab the other microphone, which is going to be my interview microphone. Test. Obviously, once again, I'm gonna mic check myself, test. Obviously, with the auto gain, it'll be a little bit more controlled, but you never wanna talk directly into the mic. That everybody has a tendency of doing, including me. Check myself. The important thing is here to be somewhat prepared. I usually like to kind of go with the flow just to feel the person out. I feel like that's part of my skill, is to really extract the depth of person's personality. But because this is more of a professional, this is a business thing, and there's just some questions that I don't want to miss. So we're gonna start tracking. He's gonna track the right eye so we never miss focus because it's a sharp 1.8. It's a monopod, make sure there's no shake. And then we're slowly just gonna start something like, I guess you can start with introducing yourself, what's your name, why you're here, and who you are. You know, we can start with something simple like that.
So my name is Jay. I own a fitness company called Recon Health and Fitness.
Now let's back up here. Like, why did you said you went from a custom Millwood to fitness? Why was fitness your choice?
I started millwork because it was a family trade. So I was 15 years old.
That's amazing. What is Recon Health and Fitness?
So recon is the root word of reconnaissance. It is a military word for, man, dive in and find everything out that you can about that scenario or that situation. Fitness.
So this seems like it's a more of a personal approach to your business now, right? Before maybe it was a financially driven, but now it seems like it's a personal mission, and something that you're doing out of big passion for. What's next for Recon Health and Fitness, and what's next for you, I guess, simultaneously?
Recon's been around for about 5 years now. I've been in the background developing products, developing the method, the system of time under tension, patenting all of our products. We wanted to make that a system, a method that is easily accessible to the entire public, all demographics, from children all the way up to professional athletes to injured seniors. And that's what we've done. We've brought a method and a system that everybody can follow.
So it seems like it's not a very traditional thing or way of exercising, right? Because everybody uses bands for warm-ups, you said, and then it kind of stops there. So is there challenges of taking this type of training and this product mainstream?
You know, networking is a big thing. Proof of concept is a very big thing. We can look at social media and it's proven that band training it's just one of the top methods out there. Every high profile athlete is using a band in some way. The problem is, again, there's no method and there's no system. There's no uniform to it.
Now, I guess the question is, where do we find, or how do you get the education about it out, right? Because now you've got the great idea, you got the patents, the products are here. 2024 is your year. Now, how do you get the education out?
So like I said, we spent 5 years developing it to this point.
I guess another question which a lot of people are going to ask is it going to be expensive? Who's it for? Who's the target market?
Expensive, no. If we look at the industry in a whole, and fitness equipment, your everyday equipment that you see in your gym. So,
can we say that again without? There's a lot of stuttering there. Yeah. Just start from the very beginning. Yeah.
Okay.
Expense? Is it going to be expensive?
Okay.
Yeah.
Which a 45-pound plate, you're talking $90. I can give you the same result out of one of our bands that's $14. So cost perspective, yeah, you're way better off to go time under tension in a band.
So everyone's going to be able to kind of afford a system potentially for their home, and it's used for you were mentioning a lot of clinics and sports and athletes. So the goal here is to kind of go more mainstream and have it accessible for everybody.
Correct, accessible for everybody. And you know, the reconnaissance was everything from rehabilitation to strength conditioning and health development of the muscle. So our products are not just gym based. We have developed practitioner products for clinics, for rehabilitation. That's one line that we have coming out March of 2024. And we've also developed a whole strength conditioning line of equipment that is, again, all band-based in time under tension.
Is there anything you wanted to touch on? I think that was...
I think if we can do a little bit, just because of the kind of meetings and contracts we have coming up for rehabilitation out of New York.
You talk more about rehabilitation. So I'm just gonna tie back this band system that's coming out, and why is it personal for you, right? And then maybe you can start saying, you know, you found it useful and now you want to put it into clinics and everything like that. So it being a product that you've developed, obviously, and you said you went all in on it, and it's a little bit personal for you. So how are you gonna give back, or where do you see it working the most in the upcoming year?
Like I said, we've harvested and engineered all of these products for all demographics, all facilities. The passion really came from a rehabilitation perspective for myself, recovering myself and rehabilitating my own tension, my own nervous system by using time under tension really hit home for me.
So where can people find you now? Obviously, this is such exciting news. It seems like everything is innovative. Things are moving fast. Now, to kind of keep track of where this company is going, or maybe have somebody sign up and kind of just see the information, especially, I know a lot of people are going to look at this video and then say, hey, I want to go on the waiting list, or hey, I want to touch this product with my own hands and see if it's for me. How would I go about that?
So following and staying true to our business model, And let me back that up a little bit. My wife has been, right beside me for the last 5 years developing this business. She's been very successful in real estate and still is to this day. But my main supporter has been my wife, and that just made a very, very strong foundation for us to be able to get to where we are today. In terms of how do you get a hold of us, our business model has been, a business-to-business approach. Like I said, we want to get it in the hands of the medical industry. We want to get it into the hands of the training industry, to the trainers and the clubs. We chose to introduce ourselves at this moment. So from this moment forward, to find out more about us, we do have a website at reconhf.ca, and you can go there to find out more about the company. In terms of time under tension and the Recon system, if you follow me starting now, you're going to start to learn more about the system. And when we introduce it towards the end of March, it's going to be available for purchase to the general public. And at that point, you're going to know everything about it, and you're just going to be ready to jump on board.
That's exciting news. Do you have any closing statements before we get a workout in? Hey, sorry. Ralph, how's your shape? Are you ripped right now? Yeah. Pull that shirt up. Yeah.
Why? You want to put me through again?
Yeah, wait for a workout. Jay's going to put you through something. Yeah. Okay, just warm up then. All right, so any closing?
Josh should be put through it, number one.
Josh is too soft. All right, so I guess let's get this workout. Let's put Ralph through something here.
Let's see what Ralph's got.
Yeah. All right. I think that was pretty good. That was the perfect introduction to where it's headed.
Yeah.
And now
what's do a series, so I didn't
exactly. So this
is just enough.
Yeah.
So that we can get it out of the bag.
And then this is perfect. This is just gonna be, obviously, from our perspective, we're just gonna be filming him. Okay. We might mic Ralph up if he doesn't talk weird like Josh. But we're gonna put him through a workout and just kind of see, so you guys can see the difference and the level of training that he's talking about, because he's saying that, a lot of these band systems end at just warming up or a couple stretches, whatever. We'll see what he's got, right? So on the professional level, this video is going to be B-roll, plus obviously a little bit of A-roll of him talking, but he's going to be mostly off camera. We're going to be focused on maybe muscle tension. We're going to be focused on Ralph. He's going to be our sexy model today, and we'll see. We want the real reaction in different exercises, and this is a series that's going to end up on most likely YouTube for now, and then probably instructional videos in the future in terms of Shopify, in terms of his own app, training apps. So I'll let you change, you get ready, and we have to now set up the Ronin.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right, so we're gonna mic this guy up. The one thing that you have to kind of learn is when you're miking guys up with these lavs, when guys got chains, when it smacks like this, it kills audio. So you almost want to just find a spot where you make sure that his chain is not going to reach the microphone, because that shit destroys audio and it sounds so rookie. So now we're going to be running the B cam. Sometimes this is why it is important to have two cameras. You know what I might actually do? We'll save, so I have a better idea. I'm actually gonna use the A cam, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the footage from that for the A cam, and then we're gonna roll to close-up shots of bands and all the equipment that he has after. So we'll do the B cam stuff later, and so for the A cam, check this out. This is the good thing about the FX3 that nobody knows.
We talked about the mental health side of things, which I didn't.
Check this out. This is not only a handle. I brought different mics just in case we needed to use that, but we are lucky that Ralph is here. He's willing to get mic'd up.
Because I came home with adaptability.
So we might use the 24 because the 35 is a little bit a little bit tight, and the last thing we want to do is change mid workouts because it's too tight. So we want to be not as wide as possible because we don't want to use too wide of a lens, but I am gonna bump out the 24 mil just to be safe. And we're not really too concerned about distorting faces because we're not going to be worried about faces because this is a 1.4. This drops the aperture a bit, so now instead of running 12.8 with a VND at 1.7 multimetering, we'll drop it down to 800, and then we'll push the VND low, which will push it back to the 1.7 and hopefully give us a little bit of a cleaner image. Once again, we don't need the cleanest image because we're not going to be going up close to people's faces. We don't need the G Master, but we're using it. I guess if we have it, why not, right? We're going to turn up the stability to the highest possible because I'm going to go handheld for this. I'm going to put it on active, and trust me guys, running handheld at 24p is also the trick to go wider because the tighter you get, the more shakes you're going to see. So this isn't the most ideal setup. I could have been on a Ronin, but once again, using a Ronin while these guys are talking, we're moving around, it's really gonna just make things too robotic. And my style of filming is always gonna be dynamic movement. And yeah, one sec, we're just gonna do mic test. Ralph, what'd you have for breakfast?
I had oatmeal.
Okay, Jay?
I had eggs, an avocado, and rye toast.
Okay, we're gonna back check once again how important the audio is.
I had oatmeal. I had eggs, avocado, and rye toast.
Okay, so we're gonna hit record. So I've already made a mistake. I recorded it into the camera, but I didn't hit record on their labs. And this is a lesson for everybody, right? We were in a rush. And this is why we always try to record both things. Because yes, I got the audio, but the 32-bit float on the manual recording into the receiver, we didn't get, which I'm gonna get right now. Record. Do you still have the mic? Yeah, right. Yeah, right. All right, so now, obviously, this is, for me, I'm just gonna get Jay talking shit. So what's happening here, obviously, the most important thing, this seems so simple. You're fucking pulling a band over a machine.
That's it.
You're right.
That's
yeah.
it. And when we understand tension, like time under tension, like it's proven that muscle development is contraction and retraction, right? So that's contraction and retraction. You know, everybody will question, well, tension. Well, I'll go to a cable machine and there's tension. Sure, it's still static tension. It's not progressive tension, right? What time under tension and what the bands do allows you to progressively push that same weight, but progressively build and push to that same contraction with 10 times the benefit and 10 times less chance of injury, 100% proven. So that's what we're gonna run through a little bit here. I'm kind of gonna show some of the exercises and talk through what's happening while we're doing it.
Yeah, introduce yourself.
Hey guys, my name is Ralph.
You seem like you're in pretty good shape. You're actually a trainer, right?
Yes, I'm a trainer.
So, and we want you to be honest, right?
Yeah.
If this feels like shit, we end this immediately, right? If this doesn't work, we stop immediately.
100%.
Right? So we want to see where this goes.
Yeah.
We want to see, and I'm sure people in YouTube and the real followers want to see how effective this is. So we're looking forward to it, and thanks for doing this. This is the hardest part about fucking
Where you're just
recording,
clumping around
because
every exercise is opening you up.
because holding the fucking camera, as you know, you want to be as compact as possible. Because some people put fucking bad boxes and this and that to make this clean image for something so simple like two dudes working out without it being like a beauty shoot. That's way overkill. So what we're gonna do is, once again, we're gonna try to keep it as compact as possible. We're gonna, I don't wanna I'm at a good height here because I don't want to put them at eye level. They kind of look small. Ralph's a little short, so we want to find a good middle. Shoot from bottom up. Hey man, I'm fucking short too, bro.
You know.
Yeah, I know the struggles.
Vertically challenged.
Yeah, that's right, man. Yeah. All right, let's go.
Okay, so I'm gonna start, obviously, this is gonna be completely band based. So I'm gonna start, and we don't need this on, right? Okay. That's starting point. We're not telling the industry that you gotta completely take static weight out of the equation. That's crazy. We've been lifting plates for 300 years, right? It's gonna take a long time for that actual change to happen. So the first thing we're gonna wanna do is add some tension to this machine. Again, our first introduction out into the industry for our belief and our method of time under tension is adaptive band training. So we're gonna go through right now how to adapt tension to your generic gym equipment.
I'm gonna open up the aperture a little bit because there's two of them and they're always moving back and forth, and I want to get a little bit of a wider depth. So what I'm gonna do is, instead of 1.4, I know everybody likes to shoot 1.4 because it's a hard flex, but I'm gonna open it up to about 4, and obviously crank up the ISO and turn up the VND to about 1.7, both of them in, and we're good to go.
We're gonna use a level 2 recon band. Now, everything in the industry right now for bands is a 42-inch long band or a 12-inch long band. With recon, we've brought to the surface all the band lengths in between. And when we actually think about that, why wasn't that a thing 50 years ago? You know, Ralph is 4'1". I'm 5'11".
Yeah.
So this band is different. His torso length is different than, so, you know, think about the mathematics of that. It just does not make sense. So when you do eventually come onto the recon system, there's a variety of bands, lengths and levels.
And Ralph, you should probably defend yourself on your height, man. How tall are you?
I am 5'6".
Yeah, let's go. I'm holding handheld,
It may seem a little awkward,
and I still am gonna weave a little bit back and forth once in a while.
We're gonna have to just go with the flow, and that's adaptive band training.
Because
Right now, I take the level 2.
people know I'm handheld.
Frame here.
If I'm trying to hold it too still and get shakes, it's weird. But if you give it a handheld look,
Yep.
at least it flows a little bit better.
Kind of do the same as what I'm doing. Okay. There you go. Level it up, throw it on. Okay. So if I were to ask you, what does that feel like if it was static weight? How many plates or how many pounds do you think you'd have on that?
Think about it.
A plate aside? Okay. Drop back on. Yeah, we're just getting going. Okay. So yes, you know, time under tension and band training, it is the next thing, but we also have to bring, you know, historical movements into this. So form is important, okay? And my main thing, again, why I was so passionate about the rehabilitation side is when my body tensed up on me, this happened. And I had no control over it, and my tension just sat there for years and years. Most people do. I could look at most people,
That's me.
the general public, and they're like this. They have no idea, but they're like this. We hold our tension.
From holding the camera,
I'm always
man.
gonna be on you to stay down. I'm either gonna be pushing you down because I notice you creeping up, and I'm gonna keep you down. It allows us to, number one, isolate, right? We're not using any of this stuff, we're isolating, right? Band training is not about how hard it can be and how much weight is on there. It's about volume and it's about clean movements, right? So we're gonna keep our upper body down and just engage lat. You are gonna start to creep up, and I'm just gonna remind you to keep it down. So let's get into that. I know you're obviously professional in your industry, so you know form.
Yeah.
Okay, right now that muscle is being loaded. Do you feel that pump right now?
Oh yeah.
You feel it right now. It happens immediately because that band is opening up that muscle fiber, giving it a healthy influx of oxygen and blood. Static is going to do.
We're gonna come from the back angle now because I got the front angle, and I just wanna frame a little bit different maybe on this set.
Let's go 8.
Ralph, bro, come on, man. You got two 10-pound plates on there.
And I'll tell you right now, I want one more than what I asked for. Let's go.
What rep is that, Ralph?
You got 3 more. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Why doesn't it matter? Because we're not basing this on metrics. We're basing this on how the body feels and how the body reacts. And that's how I teach and that's how I train.
Ralph is a
I don't
thug
care
all of a
about
sudden.
numbers and I don't care about a book.
He's thugging it out. Don't matter. Bro didn't sign up for this.
3 more. Let's go. 2 more. Let's go. 1 more. Let's go. Yep.
Perfect. All right. Look at that. Would you look at that? Look at that.
So your comment about in a private gym you put bands on, but in a public gym you put
Well, he's got to be honest about it, right?
100%.
Yeah.
I'm glad you answered that way.
Yeah.
Because I'm about to.
So this is the challenge that I see. All right. I already saw it. It may not seem cool for these young kids, right? So we need to find. It has to be young people that we're going to be training.
And that's why our model was, a business to business,
Yeah.
and a youth.
Yeah.
And start with training our youth this way. So it does become cool.
It does, yeah, absolutely, and it's something new that can catch on, which is if it's proven by facts and stats, it's actually a good way of training, right? So you need to back it by doctors, you need to back it by physiotherapists and trainers such as Ralph and young people.
Yep. And we have that medical backing. I mean, we have a long list of credentialed
But
therapists, etc.
people will need to see it, right?
Yep, 100%. And I mean, through this series, we are going to bring some practitioners in here and some doctors to validate what it is that we're doing. We've already validated it with them, but for the public to know.
Yes.
Second to that, it's not cool. Right?
No.
It's not cool.
No, it's not.
With Recon, what we did is we made it cool. Once you start to see our products, they're cool. Like, they're just cool.
Well,
I don't know how else to explain it. They're practical, they're useful, but man, they're sexy and they're cool. You're gonna want to have my bar in the gym.
yeah.
You just are.
Yeah, so right here, I'm gonna cut in some B-roll.
I'm just gonna have
This is also a trick, ladies and gentlemen, right? So if you wanna remember some of the key moments, you cover and you just record a black frame. That way when you look through your edit, you see a black frame, you know that before or after was a cool, how would you say it, like almost like a marker that you wanted to use. So after what he just said, I'm gonna cut in a bunch of B-roll of his equipment that's cool, since he says it's cool, and we're just gonna try to prove it, and we'll see how that goes. But little tricks of the trade, and having it up here is definitely relieving some fucking pain off my back, because
so it's guys like you.
Lord have mercy.
Press incorporated. And it's not like
And this is such a light setup. Imagine having those big ass rigs for a running gun setup, trying to flex on people, trying to collect money. Like I said, my thing is always trying to run as compact as possible. Obviously try to have good gear, but settings, exposure are really important, and you just gotta try to nail that instead of having all this fucking gear that's just completely useless. And we'll get back to focusing on that.
For 30, 60 days like that. Because I know what's gonna happen.
You know what we should do? We should actually run a series. We take somebody, we train the living fuck out of him, and we run all the stats. We run all the stats. How much he can lift static weight after bands. For 30 days, they only do bands. Fuck all the static weight, right? We measure his maxes or before the band training.
And level of band progression.
Right.
We monitor and count.
Yeah, his sprint speed and everything, and then we should do that. Yeah.
So I trained a lot at Good Life in Okotoks. Trainers there started adapting to what I was doing. I got him on bands and under bench, and he messaged me about 60 days later saying that he had increased his bench. Again, he works on metrics. He had increased his bench by a whole 45 plate aside over 30 days.
That's crazy.
and he started with a 25-pound plate and a band, and then progressed the tension. Take that tension off, and you know, there's not enough room on that bar to load plates on for him anymore.
All right, even this is starting to get uncomfortable, so we have to find a different place to post on.
For sure. But you're right. And how far you doing? Okay, so we've only added 20 pounds there. It's a different kind of pump. It's a different kind of pump.
All right. Break. Maybe just one exercise, kind of like of like the different setups that you can do. Okay. Maybe the wrist or whatever, the bar. And then we're good, because this is fucking a lot of editing. So
It's a lot of video out there.
yeah.
Equipment doesn't vary that much. So whether you're on a hammer strength or a life fitness piece of equipment or a recon health and fitness piece, once you understand it one time, you're gonna adapt it to every other manufacturer. It's just that simple, right? We talk a lot about, you know, rehabilitation and stuff. We work a lot with disabled bodies. So amputees, wheelchair individuals, etc. How difficult do you think it is to be in a wheelchair and move plates around? It's impossible. Have you ever seen it? We've worked with a lot of them. So again, another problem, right? It's easy for you know, Mr. X to go over and grab a band, adapt it, boom, and get into it. It's that simple. You get that feeling. We want to make sure that that right amount of tension is there. How does that feel? Good? So if I were to ask you right now, if you were to do 3 sets, okay? Yeah. Traditionally with static, or this way with tension, 20 reps instead of static 6 reps, which would you do? Based on how you feel right now.
I think right away,
Yeah.
like I didn't have to wait till like second set or third set to feel
The pump.
the pump. Yeah,
It's
or the
full
stress,
right now.
the activation, the chest activation.
And then also, like, my personal question is, like, I always find I'm doing machines last because they do fuck all. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're made to isolate things and to move so smoothly that none of my stabilizers, anything is activating. So it's literally like, I don't know.
So you right there.
Yeah, I'm just wasting time. I swear to God. Yeah.
Energy in the industry is being applied to the mechanics of the machine.
Yeah.
Which it has to be, but that can't be the main focus. Like, how cool is this machine?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But is it effective in its best way?
No, absolutely
No,
not.
you're just competing against the next cool piece of equipment.
I feel like it's the ultimate novice beginner method, yeah, to do any,
right?
yeah.
Okay, so let's see. That was 20 reps. So if I were to give you the choice, what would you do at this point? If you were doing chest, I wasn't here, and you had to get 3 sets out of this incline machine.
I think definitely to kill the chest, it's this.
You'd stay on this?
You're feeling this like right
Now,
set.
when you're pumped, you're full.
Literally first set, you do like 3 reps and boom.
So I'm not here,
It's right there.
and you're in your private gym.
Yeah.
And you're gonna continue with your next sets.
Yeah.
Are you gonna load up plates, or what are you gonna do with it?
I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, go.
Maybe
Probably a lot of plays.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
It's more. I'd say it's probably more an ego thing, but I think if I'm chasing, if I'm really thinking about the pump and like the muscle activation, I definitely look at it.
So what's your goal?
Yeah.
What is the goal?
To grow the chest.
That's it.
That's the ultimate.
So whatever you gotta do to meet that goal, you do it. The rest of the shit, get it out of the way, man. The ego, the guy next to you with 4 plates aside, I don't care. I'm after my goal, right? And you just said it, that this gets you there.
Yeah.
that was the most raw thing that could have happened, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Just to feed your ego though. So the guy next to you isn't.
No, honestly, that was actually the most honest, raw thing that could have happened on camera. Is that because even though he knows that this may be more effective for a pump,
Yep.
he's still gonna go after the
Still
plates,
gonna go.
man. Yeah.
And
But I know in reality, it's gonna be the most effective.
right.
Possibly, yeah.
So this is where we break guys down.
Right.
When I start training them, I'll break them right down to what your goal is.
Yeah.
And if you want to train with me, I'll get you there, but everything else gets unpacked and just shit on. let's get down to the basics.
Yeah.
Of the feeling, right? And again, that's why I said from the beginning, I don't work on numbers. I don't care what weight you have. Right. How do you feel? Yeah.
Actually, that's true, man. If you can't do the 25s because you're so ego fucking driven, that's fucked up.
Unpack your shit,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
You think you're, like,
And when you do go train with professional athletes, they're not even. This is the max that they're using, man.
That's it.
Yeah, because they're all about injury prevention, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And those guys want to have life after sport. So they understand it, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's not thinking life after training. I guarantee you at his age, he's not.
He's thinking
Yeah.
he's thinking rice, chicken, and gains, bro.
You can slowly let it out.
Yeah.
So that was 14
my
reps.
boys did. My boys did. So you always want to turn on the level to kind of keep things at level as much as you can. But it's obviously going to be a little bit difficult.
How's it feel?
Turn it off.
It's good, right? Clean. You're not
Turn it
jerking
on.
the weight.
And if it does go out of like this, don't just jerk it back. You're way better off
That's awesome.
slowly moving it back into position.
I'm not sure where your count is, but keep going.
It's more pleasant to the eye instead of just jerking it back into position.
Based on how you're doing right now. 14.
Oh, I've got no knowledge, man, right now. We're just sitting
leaning
here
into your back on purpose.
trying to make sure we don't overexpose. You see the zebra right here in the back of his head?
Okay, don't move.
A little bit of zebras. Basically, if the zebra starts showing up on his face, that means we're overexposed.
Go.
Got this, Ralph. Come on, bro. You ain't got no fucking two plates per side. All the shit he was talking, man.
We don't stop and we don't give up. But I'm gonna help, okay? And I'm leaning into your chest so that your form stays. Go. You're doing 4 more. Go.
Fuck.
Go. You own it. Ready? Now.
I
Go.
want this reaction after,
Ready?
like,
One more.
in 2 days.
Slow down,
I wanna
ready?
see how he feels. He's never gonna look at the bands the same way again.
I got your back. Slowly let it down. Shoulders the way we did the lats, because that just wrecked me.
It's funny because he's talking shit. He's like, it ain't that good, bro.
They all talk the shit.
And bro, you look jacked though, eh? What the fuck? This boy got jacked. Yeah, he looks fucking massive, man. Yeah.
I mean,
The light changed.
we're not releasing certain
Since
products
that
to the
corner.
market yet, but we've developed
So I have to change the
mobile
V&D.
with all plug and play. It's just not.
When you're moving the camera
There we-
person to person
I'm perfect. Now
Once
I feel
again,
that
don't
pull. It's
whip
not
it.
on my hips. I'm in the right
and
location. You can't do that with equipment.
always slow movements.
Period. So
Even
do
if
that some
even
more.
if Ralph started talking, I'm still gonna wait a bit to confirm that I want to move there, so I don't have
This
to
is
move
not-
back and forth. See, if Ralph was gonna
This
start
is
talking,
not-
I would have ruined that frame.
How can I say that? This is not like a final stretch. This is still part of your workout, right? Because we're pulling that muscle right now still.
Lay some bands out on the floor or something after, just for us to get the B-roll shots. So I'm fucking beat and exhausted from carrying around this camera. I'm not even gonna set up the B camera to do gimbal. I'm just gonna use this camera. Just gonna take down the handle, obviously, and the audio because we don't need it anymore. I'm gonna put it in S&Q in 60p just so I can get all the slow motion B-roll clean. And the reason for that too, we use 60p slow motion, is that if you slow down by 2.5 times, you know, real 1 second is actually gonna turn out to be, you know, 3 seconds of slow motion. So you just need one little bit to look good if you're trying to get clean, smooth motion B-roll. Obviously the gimbal is gonna help.
So I
Let's
train
go.
belts like this. This is
this
the
is-
majority of my shoulder training right here.
Actually, let's also take down their mics and stop recording before it keeps running and we forget that again.
I'm gripping it. There's no laterals and I'm front all day long. I'll give it.
Yeah, it's nice and warm, isn't it? It's nice and
little
fucking,
soggy, but
yeah, it's nice and warm. Yeah. Oh, for the gimbals, the setup is pretty simple. You get the mounting plate. It's on the horizontal. You slide it in. All the arms are locked. Then you start releasing arms. Boom. So you know that it's back heavy. You gotta move it forward until it stops completely. Lock here. It's top heavy.
And I'll be spending my time here if it's okay with Josh and his boys here.
You want it to be not moving anywhere wherever you're set. Then we move on to the next arm.
We'll start to integrate the bar.
This is actually pretty good. Oh no, it's a little bit to that side, so I'm gonna push it in, lock it. Now this is a tricky one because once you unlock this, basically once you put it at a 45-degree angle, you don't want it to swing anywhere. So it's pretty good. So now at this point, any position I put it in, it should almost stay, which means that the gimbal is well balanced. Obviously you turn it on and calibrate.
For you guys as trainers is, your clients don't know this. So for you as a business, every other trainer out there, just remember that, use that.
And then this is going to be on the pan follow. This is going to be a quick setup. Pan follow moves left and right. Pan follow will always point straight. Pan tilt follow will actually let you tilt. But left and right and up and down. FPV mode will let the camera tilt.
Accumulate all too much because otherwise I gotta go plow in 3 or 4 hours.
Why plow?
Those are the main modes. 360 rolls, all that is a little bit too fancy. It is some moves that I use, but we're gonna go up to these bands right here that we set up. And because we always want to get more footage than we need to, what we're gonna do is start with the basic. I'm gonna use the joystick to go. I'm gonna focus in. I'm gonna track an object. I'm gonna keep it at f2.8 is a little bit low because we want to get more things in focus. Oops. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open it up right here instead of 2.8. Roll it to about 5.6 or 4. 4 should be okay. It's a pretty flat surface.
All is well. I'll call you from the car in a little bit, but all is well. How's my?
I'm gonna tilt it down. Pan follow. Let's track again. I'm gonna lock the gimbal by pressing the trigger.
Okay, yeah, I won't be long.
And I'm gonna go left to right.
Okay, love it.
This is gonna make it as smooth as possible moving left to right. But there's still gonna be jitters when you start zooming in, when you start really looking at the footage. You might have to stabilize it post. So we got that footage.
That was 132 pounds.
Now I'm gonna go pan tilt follow. Once again, there's never too much footage, right? So I'm gonna double trigger to reset it.
Disassembled my body.
I'm gonna tilt it down,
To the point
and this is what we're gonna
the
do.
only way that my
I'm gonna
body
record,
is tension,
and I'm gonna tilt it up.
then I would be in for 5-6 hours, and my wife would have to pick me up, carry me.
Same thing. We're gonna push down. Push
I
down.
always train
Track
bands, but I dove right into it at that point because just as you felt the pull,
up.
that pull,
Now we're gonna move sideways and up, back and down. Just different movements,
and the only thing
just to make sure. Down, pan tilt up,
is the band would pull me out, and I just sit on
down,
the floor. Big Sky Fitness. I'd sit on
side down,
just
and tilt up.
hours. And they'd come up to me and be like, "Bro, you've been here for 4 hours." I'm like, that's all good. Just leave me alone. I'm feeling great. And then I just.
Now in the final, obviously, like I said, the FPV where everything curves.
Yeah, I didn't even know that band training existed. Oh, I just grabbed the band. I felt what it felt. My body felt.
You can monitor.
And then
Sometimes things do get out of balance.
5 years ago.
So what we're gonna do, this is really heavy on the gimbal, by the way, to have a camera at the end pointing down like that, because all the motors have to fight back. But this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna record, and because it's an FPV, we're gonna tilt it around.
never geared my whole life. That's not a thing for me.
You can do so much different movements
But I
here.
can see the more of an athletic look on my body, right?
You can do a whole ass orbit from this side.
So I skip training.
Tilt,
Start to see your strength.
down,
Be efficient. Like,
up. Once again, this is in 60p, so a lot of the slow footage,
yeah, it works.
because it's on black too, so we'll try to overexpose it a bit.
I want to see your bench
Just overexposing a little bit just to make sure
without any tension, right?
we get the cleanest footage possible.
So 3 plates aside. Let's start there, and then I'm gonna break you right down. And then we'll start to stand up, and we'll see what you're like in 60 days. It'll be intense. Yeah, I'm gonna fuck around. Yeah.
Cool transitions,
Expectation big.
wipe transitions.
The average public, because you have to try and push them.
And we're good. That should be enough. We literally need about 1 or 2 seconds, but once again, when you're in a professional shoot and you're getting paid and this guy loves this product, you don't want to fuck this up. So
Convince people.
the more footage, the better. It's never a problem unless you're editing and you're getting lazy. You never want to do that. But for today, I think we're just going to take down, put everything away, and start editing.